Are you considering moving to the San Francisco Bay Area and wondering about Concord, California? Is San Francisco too expensive for you, so you're considering moving to the burbs on the outskirts of the city? Well, in today's video, we're talking about all the things that you need to be aware of that are cons to living in Concord, California. So stay tuned. What's up guys, Rachel Capel, your local Bay Area realtor. If you want to know all things about the San Francisco Bay Area, this is the channel for you. So make sure to click that subscribe button, smash the like button, and make sure you're notified each week because we have new content teaching you all about the Bay every single week. Big shout out to those people asking questions and leaving comments. We love it, so keep them coming. If you want to know all things about the Bay Area and relocating here, we got you covered. Just call, text, DM, PM, whatever you feel comfortable with. Our team has you covered when you're wanting to move to the Bay Area. All right, so you're bored of your town and you want to come to the glorious state of California and move to the San Francisco Bay Area? Well, you might want to know a few things before you head on over here. And obviously, we know that the homeless situation in San Francisco and the feces on the street is nasty, and the things that the city is doing is not working. So, lots of people are coming over to the East Bay, which is towns kind of bordering the San Francisco area, and they're coming over here because not only is it cheaper, there's less homeless, there's numerous reasons, but today we are talking about those cons of living specifically in Concord, California. So Concord, California, guys, just so you know, it's like the discount shop. If we have Henry Bendel's or Bergdorf Goodman is San Francisco, Ross is gonna be Concord. That's what it looks like here. It's much cheaper, and it's definitely a more affordable place to be living than in San Francisco. Now, there are lots of good things and there are lots of very bad things about Concord, and today we're talking about all those bad things, all the cons that you should know before moving on over. So let's get to it. All right, number one is going to be crime and homeless. So in San Francisco, there is a ton of homeless and crime. That's not a mystery. It's pretty bad. I don't know how they're ever going to fix it, but it's gotten pretty bad. Now, as you trickle down the 24 to 680 going into the East Bay, you're going to see that homeless gets less and less. But it does not mean that there is no homeless. There's definitely homeless in Concord. One of the biggest cons of Concord is that there is more homeless and there's more crime. So definitely check out crime. I like to use Crime Spot online, and it'll kind of show you a little bit of how bad it can actually be in specific areas. It's really cool. I'll include all the applications down below, but this way you can kind of check it out. There is going to be more crime and homeless in Concord versus Pleasant Hill, Walnut Creek, Alamo, Danville, Lafayette. So something to take note of. My first con is that there is more homeless and more crime. Going to be less than San Francisco for sure, but more than the neighboring cities of Pleasant Hill, Walnut Creek, Martinez, etc. All right, con number two for Concord, California is the schooling. Now, as a realtor, I'm not supposed to have an opinion on schools. I always have to give you the guidance to go online and look at greatschools.org, but schooling in California is going to be tough no matter where you go. It's always going to be somewhat of a challenge. Just life in general in California. So the good news is we have great weather. That's positive. But the schooling in Concord, if you look at greatschools.org, the scores are going to be a little bit different than neighboring cities. So I advise you to go to greatschools.org, take a look, check out the school ratings, talk to people online, look at the mom groups, and see how they feel about schooling in Concord, because I've heard some feedback and it's definitely mixed, but I can't really have a totally solid opinion on this and guide you in any way, shape, or form. So I always have to just recommend check out the scoring at greatschools.org. I have just heard in Concord it is a bit of a challenge and it's a mixed bag schooling in Concord. So you got to go research it yourself and take a look and see if it's something for you. Ask the hard questions, talk to people, and see if schooling is super important to you. You're going to have to decipher if Concord is going to be the right fit. So that is my con number two. All right, con number three is traffic and the commute. So in the Bay Area, you basically have San Francisco is over here, and what's going to happen is you're going to kind of come this way, and there's going to be a whole section of towns over here that are going to be commuter type towns. So people living there are going to head over and commute to San Francisco. Now, the BART system is really great because basically you have a system that can help you hop on, skip on over to San Francisco if your job is going to be close to the hubs of where the BART trains or stations are. Now in Concord, the thing about it is, as as you go down the 680, you're going to hit Orinda, Lafayette, Walnut Creek, Danville, and then you're going to go a little bit north on 680 and you're going to hit Concord. So Concord is on the way into Brentwood, and we'll do another video on Brentwood and Discovery Bay down the road, but the housing is way more affordable in Brentwood and Discovery Bay. So oftentimes people will be commuting all the way out from Brentwood and Discovery Bay. It's like an hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes, how bad it is out there. And we could talk about that in another video of why people choose Brentwood and Discovery Bay. But Concord is kind of the last stop on over there. So what happens is you get even more congestion from coming from Discovery Bay, Brentwood, people that are commuting to the city, they hit Concord. So pretty much by the time you're in Concord and Pleasant Hill, the freeway is completely jammed up. So in the morning, my earlier videos you would have seen last year, I was talking about maybe the traffic's going to improve because of COVID. Well, it's not. So as you go down that 680 freeway, you're going to get more and more traffic as you get closer to Concord and Discovery Bay. So it's a pretty bad location as far as the freeway is concerned. Obviously, Orinda is fantastic because it's a hop, skip, and a jump to San Francisco, but the average price point is going to be $1.8 million in Orinda, and you're going to have excellent schools there. But in Concord, your average price point is probably for a single family residence house, I'd say in the 700s, depending on what needs to be fixed and whatnot. So obviously definitely more affordable, not as great schools as I mentioned, and the commute's really tough. Now the silver lining to this is that there is a BART station. So you have BART, but tack on the crime that you're going to research online, you tack on the schooling that you're going to research on greatschools.org, and now you've got the traffic. These are reasons why, just a few, the pricing is different than say Orinda, California. So that's my number 3. Okay, number 4 is going to be, it is not a very good town for walking and easily getting around. So number 3 was the traffic. Number 4 is you're going to need a car here no matter what. I think that everything is almost too far to bike. If you're biking anywhere, it's going to be a trek. So this is not a great walkability score here in Concord. It's really a more commuter town, so you're definitely going to have to have a car. If you want a place where you can walk and easily get access to the different areas like downtown, Concord is not the place for you. You're going to have to drive pretty much everywhere, and if you have a bike, it's going to be a long trek. It's not going to be an easy bike ride to downtown or to the grocery store. So that is number 4. Public transportation is not super great, and you will need a car. All right, number 5, con number 5 is that this town shuts down early again, like Walnut Creek and most of the majority of the towns in the Bay, East Bay area. They're suburb type homes, places to live, so you're not going to get that lively bumpin' city vibe. Things are probably going to shut down here about 9 o'clock for restaurants, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock maybe if you're lucky for some bars. There's going to be a lot of dive bars here. It just depends on your scene. You can always find something that stays open late, but in general, Concord is a little bit of a sleepy town and it will go to bed early. And if you want food, you better order that food before 8 just to be on the safe side. Trust me, I know there's some really good eats here, but they usually shut down pretty early. All right, number 6. Now, I hate to say this, but it's just my personal opinion. I think that Concord's downtown is not as good as Pleasant Hill and Walnut Creek. Actually, I'm going to reverse that. The veranda is amazing, and I feel like it's so close to Pleasant Hill that it's kind of like Pleasant Hill, but Concord's true old town downtown is just not as nice as Walnut Creek. So I did a video up here that you can check out and kind of relates the downtown Concord versus Walnut Creek Concord and what I like about them. So in Concord, you've got Old Town and then you've got the veranda. Now veranda is kind of like really close to Pleasant Hill, so it's like I feel like it's part of it, but it's a little funny. And so the veranda is a really new complex, but it's all like big major shopping like Old Navy, Sephora, and it's trying to compete with Walnut Creek, but it's just not the same level. It's just a different kind of vibe, and the video will kind of explain it more. But the Old Town of Concord's downtown is, it's nice. There's some really good restaurants I love. I can ask me, I'll comment down below. I'd love to share. I actually really have some cool spots that I love over there, but it's just got a little bit more like homeless there. It's not a place that I would really feel safe bringing my son to. Some people maybe they're open to that and whatnot, but I just, it's just not really my style. I think it's just a little bit more kind of vagrant type people hanging around. It's just not the same vibe as like Walnut Creek, even though Walnut Creek, like flip side of it, Walnut Creek got broken into a couple weeks ago with a flash mob of people just burglarizing Nordstrom. So, no matter where you go, you're going to have these issues, but in general, I think that the downtown is just not as great as Walnut Creek. The one thing I really love about Walnut Creek and Pleasant Hill too is that it's super walkable. You could park your car and you could walk around like kind of like the Embarcadero down in San Francisco. In Concord, you have to kind of either go one downtown or to the veranda. So it's like kind of funky like that. But my personal opinion, and that is my number 6. The downtown is just not on par with my favorite Walnut Creek. All right, number 7 is the restaurants. Again, like I did in Walnut Creek, they're just not as good as San Francisco, Rockridge, Oakland, and Napa and Sonoma. Like those cities are just, they have phenomenal restaurants. There's just some really great places that you can eat. And I'm not a super foodie, but I have enough friends that are like really big foodies, and I just don't think that they're on par. There's a handful of really, really good ones, and I comment down below and I'm happy to answer if you have questions on me sharing my favorites. There's some really, really good ones. I might even say great, but I just don't know if they're on par with those city restaurants that I mentioned earlier. I mean, there's 1 or 2 places in Todos Santos, which is like Old Town Concord downtown, that I love that I've mentioned in other videos, and like Luna and Nan Curry. I love those 2 restaurants. They're absolutely fantastic. Nan Curry is a little bit like the soup Nazi, like you have to get in there and order. It's always busy. It's really crazy. But again, there are some good spots. They're just not like amazing. So that's my number 7. The restaurants are just not the same level as San Francisco, Oakland, Rockridge, and the wine country restaurants. All right, number 8 con is the fact that it is warmer over here than in the San Francisco area and Oakland and Berkeley area. We talked about this before in my Walnut Creek cons video. You're just gonna have hotter weather when you come on over to the East Bay, because after the tunnel on 24, you're gonna just get all that marine layer fog that decreases the temperature for San Francisco and Oakland. It's gonna stop right there, and then you're just gonna get that heat wave in Walnut Creek, Pleasant Hill, and Concord. So it's gonna be warmer over here in Concord. You're gonna have to have AC, and if your house very well in Concord might not have it, you're gonna have to upgrade it, and it's gonna cost a pretty penny. The good thing about Concord is though, you can get a nice house for a good price comparative to the rest of the Bay Area. You can get something for under $1 million here. There are super nice houses that are well over $1 million, but you've got to take all of these cons into consideration and see if it's right for you. Trust me, I have plenty of clients that have lived and bought houses in Concord, and they're very, very happy, and I can promise you it'll be a great investment. Concord is on its way up. There is crime, there are all these different cons, but it's definitely a town that is up and coming, and if you can handle these cons, it's worth it in the end. All right, so there you have it, the 411 on Concord, California, and all those cons and what we need to consider before moving on over here. If you like the video, definitely hit the like button and subscribe, and just make sure you get notified each week when we have a new video coming out. If you want to know more about the downtown in Concord versus Walnut Creek, check out the link below and that video, and you'll learn more about it. Concord is a great city, guys. I've put many people in houses and great investments in that city. It's up and coming, so don't think it's off the table. Definitely just research, do what you can do online, and figure out if it's a right fit for you. We love Concord. There's plenty of things, and I will do a pro video on Concord because I haven't focused too much on Concord, but I love to just compare these videos to the city and the rest of the Bay Area because it takes knowledge to figure out what you want to do, and we are here to help you relocate and move to the Bay, and I'm always down to talk about anything that you might want to talk about with these cities and help you get that knowledge you need. Until next time, guys, thanks so much for hanging in there and checking out this video, and have a great week. See ya.